Колеги, перепрошую.
Our esteemed colleagues, we apologize for this delay. I'll give the floor to the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Ukraine, Mr. Pavlo Klimkin. Dear friends, I also have to apologize for some kind of delay. It's a very difficult day today we have. You already had the briefing regarding what's going on after the declaration of ceasefire. The situation is really very tense. You know that the Council of National Council of Defense and Security specifically indicated that we are prepared for to start withdrawal of heavy weaponry, and we are prepared for all the implicit situations. Over the last few days, there was a huge wave of diplomatic and political activity. We have and we can sense and feel the support of all the civilized world. Just yesterday, President of Ukraine had a number of extremely important and informative negotiations, including the one with the President of the United States, Barack Obama, and Chancellor of Germany, Angela Merkel, President of France, François Hollande. And today, as I hope, they will have a telephone talk in the normal format. And the media carried the message that this talk is going to be take place to check the watches, the clocks. I mean, and not only we have to check our clocks, but only to work to the extent that the ceasefire be a real one, not with the violations which we can observe today. Second of all, we need that ceasefire acquire the stable nature, and this is possible only if everyone is going to observe their respective obligations and commitments, when we will be able to start withdrawal of heavy weaponry, and when the OSCE mission is able to completely carry out their monitoring and verification and ceasefire, including ceasefire and the withdrawal of heavy weaponry. At 1500 today, as far as I understand, the OSCE CMM mission is going to have their own briefing. But despite all our efforts today, despite all the efforts of the special monitoring mission, and I would like to thank this mission for both their courage, bravery, and the dedication. They were not allowed to go to the Baltsova. They were told they are unable to get there. This is a direct violation of the commitments and the spirit of the Minsk agreements, because the mission is the only mechanism of real control over ceasefire. And I believe that those who impede or hinder the mission, and not only the ceasefire, have to be responsible, both politically and morally, for that. Naturally, the issue of ceasefire today is one of the most important all the international platforms. I do not exclude the possibility that there will be a special Security Council meeting today dedicated to this issue. We are working on this topic in the real-time mode, and to us the key task is to ensure ceasefire and creation of necessary conditions in order that every night and every day no innocent people can be killed, and to stop the sufferings in Donetsk and Lugansk regions. Also, the key aspects here are the beginning of the real exchange of the, let's say, hostages, based on the principle everybody for everybody, all for all, and all the humanitarian assistance required, because people suffer. They badly need this humanitarian assistance Now, that's what I was going to tell you. I'm prepared to take your questions, if any. Your questions, please. Thank you very much, Mr. Minister. Ksenia Marchenko, your position as the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Are there any grounds, indeed, in order to declare the martial law? First of all, the martial law declaration always takes place in accordance with the legal field of Ukraine, legislation of Ukraine, and constitution of Ukraine. The president of Ukraine actually very specifically mentioned the conditions when and how we have to work today. Today, again, this is a complete dedication to the cause of ceasefire and withdrawal of heavy weaponry. And if the commitments and obligations undertook by the parties, including those in Minsk, if they are violated, then the decisions are going to be passed that will be necessary to ensure the defense of our country. Other grounds for that, for the martial law, because there is still shelling. Again, the situation has improved as compared to the previous days. We have to analyze the situation and again to do everything possible in order to let's say to exert some influence or effect on the violators. If the situation is going to aggravate, again I repeat myself, we will find all the necessary means to affect the situation. Again, first of all, we have to work within the Norman format, and we emphasize that the Russian side actually is completely responsible for the situation available today in Donbass area. More questions? Olga Konstanuk, 112 channel. I'm talking about the special meeting of the Security Council of United Nations. What Ukraine should expect from this meeting of the UN Security Council. First of all, the specific time for this meeting hasn't been established yet. Of course, they take the situation available in Donetsk and Lugansk under the continuous control. For us is important that all the Security Council of UN take specifically the real implementation of the Minsk agreements. Very important to us is the support on the United Nations, again, towards the de-escalation of the situation. The Minsk agreement must be observed in full measure. That's why I expect from the Security Council a specific signal. Yes to Minsk agreement, yes specifically now, and in full measure, 100% implementation of all the commitments. Меня зовут, я финский журналист из Финляндии. Это следующие договоренности Минские. Первые не очень хорошо прошли. Если у нас основания полагать, что... Вернее, у нас есть основания полагать, что это тоже не сработает полностью. Если не сработают договоренности, что это означает в далекой перспективе для страны? Ну, в первую очередь, если мы пытаемся разработать как своего рода план «Б» прямо сейчас, то тогда возникнет проблема.
In comprehensive way on Minsk agreements. Now we have one clear way forward, implementation of Minsk agreement, and I would not say that, so to say, we have Minsk agreement 1.1 and 1.2. What we did this week in Minsk is the development of the spirit and substance of Minsk agreement approved in Minsk on September the 5th and September the 19th. In that sense, it's not new. But what is important and what was real, although I hate this bureaucratic twist about delivery in Minsk, but what's really important in Minsk is the idea to have a comprehensive vision for the whole package of Minsk agreement, not just for the ceasefire, although the ceasefire is critical now. Secondly, through the declaration approved by 4 leaders, we have now direct commitment by Russia. Direct commitment by Russia to deliver on Minsk agreement. Now they have political responsibility for Russian actions, and bearing responsibility on influencing the pro-Russian terrorists in Donetsk and Lugansk. So in that sense, not delivering on the agreements would mean that the international community should undertake decisive steps in order to put the whole development on the track of proper, so to say, sound and viable implementation of Minsk agreement.
I have one more question with regard to the situation in eastern Ukraine. I just arrived from Mironovsky, which is a small town, city outside Artyomovsk. It's been cut off because of it's close to the Baltsevo. And the people with whom I spoke there are absolutely convinced that the Ukrainian army is shelling them and that the Ukrainian army is responsible of all this, no matter what are the facts. And I would like to know, in case there will be a ceasefire and in case there will be a peace, the real problem is really to build confidence between Kiev and the inhabitants in these areas. How will you go about? Do you have any plans for this?
We are fully committed to the peaceful political solution of what is going on around Donetsk and Lugansk. We never started any kind of shelling, and we never, I have to reiterate it again, in my capacity as a foreign minister and in my personal capacity, we never shelled on living blocks and on civilians. The same situation we have now in Debaltseve, where in the recent weeks and days we had many hundreds of violent attacks from different directions. The reason for that is the wish by so-called Donetsk People Republic to take Debaltseve as a key transport hub, very important strategic point. But such an action is in clear breach with Minsk agreement. We will never commit anything which would contradict our obligation within the framework of Minsk agreement, but it's critical to provide stability in Debaltseve and around Debaltseve. My third point, you will hear that today from the SMM OSCE mission, they even can't reach Debaltseve to oversee, to monitor the ceasefire. And the so-called Minister for Defense of Donetsk sent a letter to the SMM prohibiting them to go to Debaltseve. And it shows quite clearly, what is the way forward and who is in breach with Minsk obligation. And last but not least, a couple of days ago, on our initiative, we tried to do our best on evacuating the people from Debaltseve. We sent 10 buses there, and we agreed with Donetsk to send 10 buses to Debaltseve. All our buses came back full with people totally desperate to remain in Debaltseve. They come to us. And only one bus, sorry for saying it in such a direct way, only one bus, not full with people, got back to Donetsk. And it exactly shows the mood in Debaltseve, how the people feel about Ukraine, about their belonging to Ukraine, and about terrorists who now in charge in Debaltseve. And for that, and exactly for that, we need real local elections in Donetsk and Lugansk. because it's not about millions of our citizens, of our compatriots living there. It's about thousands of terrorists hired there or taken from Russia. And if we stay in such a situation where illegitimate representatives are in charge and not real people of Donetsk and Lugansk electing their representative who should take responsibility for law and order, for economic recovery, simply forgetting even the such needed, humanitarian assistance to the people. So we would be nowhere. And for that, we need comprehensive implementation of Minsk agreements, because it's the only way how to provide ceasefire, how to carry out humanitarian dimension, and how to kick off political process there. So it's about 1, 2, 3. It could sound simple, but it's again a comprehensive way forward.
Пане міністре, в мене ще одне запитання.
I have another question from the Interfax Ukraine question. He is not present here in this audience. You would like to specify who specifically did not allow the SMM mission of OSCE to go to Debaltseve. This was done by the representatives of Donetsk. They informed the CMM mission of OSCE about the following, that it is dangerous for them to go to Debaltseve. And again, I would like to repeat that I applaud to the efforts of that mission, those people who are prepared under very difficult conditions, just in the early hours in the morning, during the night, despite the shelling, to go to Debaltseve and being on the spot to observe how this ceasefire regime is being observed. Unfortunately, really, and to our much regret, the people who have the control in Donetsk, they did not allow the mission to go there. I hope that in a couple of hours you'll hear that information directly from the mission representatives. If we do not have all the representatives of this special mission in all the spots and all the areas where they can be useful to ensure the stable peace and stability, we'll have, if this doesn't happen, we'll have problems with the observation of the Minsk agreement. Thank you very much.